So Neptune has officially entered Aries, and with it brings a new chapter for us as a collective and for our evolution. For the last 14 years, we've been focusing a lot on clearing out and releasing all outmoded states of reality that no longer represent or resonate with us. We are now standing at the space of what has been cleared. The question that we have for ourselves and for you is, what are we going to do with it? The thing is that this is not an ordinary Neptune into a different sign transit. We're talking about Neptune entering the first sign of the zodiac. We're talking about Aries. And this is the beginning of something completely fresh, something completely new. This is a new story that we're about to embark on as a collective. I wonder where it's going to take us. So let's start off by looking at what is Neptune in Aries. So Neptune as a principle has to do with the cycle of decay that leads to disorder, that eventually comes new order, right? New inspiration, new meaning, new possibility. The Aries principle is simply emergence, the beginning of something completely new, and a new adventure, a new story that is becoming available. It's an instinctual experience. So for us, as Neptune enters Aries, we're synthesizing the emergence of new inspiration and new creativity and a new vision and a new set of meaning that we give to ourselves and as a collective. This is happening at a completely instinctual way. Now, because Neptune has been in Pisces for 14 years, this transition's not going to be easy. Think of this shift as we're starting to walk for the first time. And we have that excitement and that joy, but our legs are not really that stable yet. And so we see the possibility, we see what is emerging for us, but we also have the disorientation and the lack of trust of whether or not we can actually stay stable. So what makes this moment so potent for us? Well, Neptune's ingress into Aries is coming at the same point of a highly activated sky. We've got Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde all on top of that Neptune, even Mercury itself literally on top of that of Neptune. We've got Neptune conjuncting Saturn and the North Node. So you can see that we're sort of redefining our priorities and our set of values and what we actually constitute as things that matter and don't. We have Mars trining the Venus and the Saturn and the North Node. So it's telling us we're ready to embody and take action emotionally with the things that are changing for us. And then as Neptune goes into Aries, the day before we have a solar eclipse in Aries that literally initiates this pattern into our consciousness for us. And I know that you can feel that. This energetic cycle is the initiation of a new story for us. But it does come with the evolutionary tension of still looking back at the past patterns that we haven't released yet, that cannot come with us into this new storyline we're about to embody. So I think the message is clear in one way with Neptune's ingress into Aries. What are you ready to take a stand for? What are you ready to embody in your life that's completely new? And finally, with this new space that's emerging in our world, what are you ready to experience in a way that you have never done before? This is a new birthing process, and it's uncertain of what it will look like or how it's going to manifest. And that is the space we're about to step into. Now, this is not going to be a moment of certainty. In fact, this is a moment of listening internally for what wants to be born from within. Neptune in Aries asks questions like, where do I belong in this new world? What space do I want to take up? And this is an invitation to see what type of courage you need to embody in order to cross the threshold into a land, into a story that has never been written before. The challenge that comes along with this type of transit is feeling unmoored, right? That you're not anchored into something with certainty and direction. This type of transit is inviting an incredible amount of self-trust to be able to allow yourself to navigate the next story in a way that opens an adventure, that allows you to see the possibility and the potential. We are now at a place where there is new space available to allow for something to emerge and to come into your world. The question is, how are you going to embody that? So for us as a collective, this is a transit that's going to completely reorientate our spiritual meaning of how we see ourselves and what we've thought is possible as a human race. This transit will prompt the question for us as a collective: what are we ready to begin building from the ashes of what's been dissolved? This transit is going to push us across a threshold. And for most people, it's going to be a struggle to cross that threshold because it will feel completely dark. But this is the type of transit that's initiating us into something completely new. You will see that there will be a complete strengthening and movement towards individual spiritualized paths rather than a collective shared ideal. We'll see the need to rebel against false ideals and false practices and perspectives that are no longer a representation of the future. There will be a progressive uncoupling of dependencies towards governmental structures and institutions that hold ideals of the past. Neptune is going to have a powerful effect on us as a collective. And make no mistake, by the time we get halfway through this transit, most of the world that we thought we lived in at this point is going to look very different to what it is by the time we get halfway through this transit. This is a time for embracing a new paradigm. Pluto entering Aquarius and Neptune entering Aries is not something that just happens, every single day. These are big outer planetary transits that are shifting our perspective to something incredibly amazing, while simultaneously also unnerving. So entering this Neptune and Aries era is one that we don't need to actively work on every single day. It's a progressive long-term transit for us as a collective. Individually, what we want to do is have the right frame of mind to be able to embrace what is being asked for us. The essence and impulse of this transit will move through you, and you will start to progressively see why it's so significant to start taking up space in areas of your life that feel important to you. Neptune in Aries is the collective awakening of individual purpose, individual sense of destiny, and individual desire to follow one's own personal path. This is the initiation point. The transits right now are signaling to us whatever ideals that you hold about the past that are not part of the future will not be able to cross the threshold. And right now we're working on shifting that, being able to take up space. What am I ready to embody? What future-orientated perspective am I courageous enough to begin embracing? Even if I don't have the full map, the full story, it doesn't matter. There's a new world that's emerging, and we get the opportunity to be a part of that. The question is, what will you take up as your story and your place in the world? Neptune in Aries is exciting, it's purposeful, it's hopeful, but it also comes with the challenges of being able to find our individual selves in the context of social interaction. So make no mistake, this is also going to come with a tremendous amount of tension and conflict between who's right and who's wrong and whose space belongs to what. But that reordering will be necessary, and eventually we will land at a place where people's sense of purpose and destiny will become embodied. Now, for us, the best thing to do is to recognize that there is a pulse that's moving through you, and you want to start listening to that pulse. Tell me, guys, what you are emerging into in the comment section below. I'd love to hear that. And also, don't forget, today is the last day for the Learn Your Chart immersion. The link is in the description to check it out. I encourage any of you that are interested in actually learning about your astrology chart to check out the Learn Your Chart immersion. It's been specifically tailored to help people really connect with their astrology charts so that you could use it as a map to be able to understand not only the internal terrain that you carry in this world, but also how to navigate and awaken that purpose that I'm talking about with Neptune and Aries. All right, my friends, thanks very much for listening to this video. And I will be bringing out some more Neptune in-depth discussion on how this planetary is going to, or this planetary energy is going to affect us. This was just an opening conversation. And until the next deep dive, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.